Captain Sarah Chen stood in front of the large window, looking out at the stars. The spaceship called Harmony's Edge was bigger than any human ship she had ever seen. It belonged to the Galactic Council, and today was the most important day in human history. Earth was finally meeting other intelligent life forms. After years of signals and messages sent through space, the aliens had agreed to meet face to face. Sarah felt nervous, but excited. As the leader of Earth's team, she had to make sure everything went well. Dr. Marcus Webb walked up beside her. He was tall and thin, with gray hair and smart eyes behind thick glasses. He studied languages and had spent months learning about alien communication. "Are you ready for this, Captain?" he asked. Sarah nodded. "As ready as anyone can be for meeting aliens, I suppose." She smiled, but her hands were shaking a little. "How are you feeling about the translation work?" "I've studied their basic language patterns," Marcus said. "But they told us they mainly communicate through touch, something they call mind-touching. I'm not sure how that will work with humans." Lieutenant Torres joined them at the window. She was shorter than Sarah, but looked very strong. Her job was to keep the human team safe. "Captain, I've checked all our equipment. Everything looks good, but I still think we should be more careful about this touching thing." Dr. Priya Nakamura hurried over to them. She was a cultural expert who studied how different groups of people lived and thought. "The meeting room is ready," she said. "The aliens should arrive any minute now." Sarah took a deep breath. "Remember, everyone, we're not just representing ourselves today. We're representing all of humanity. Whatever happens, stay calm and be respectful." A soft sound came from the ship's speakers. "Attention, human delegates," a voice said. It sounded musical and strange. "The Zen HFY collective representatives are approaching. Please prepare for formal contact protocols." The four humans walked to the meeting room. It was a large space with white walls that seemed to glow softly. In the center was a round table made of something that looked like crystal. The air smelled sweet, like flowers Sarah had never smelled before. The doors on the opposite side of the room opened with a whisper. 3 alien beings walked in, and Sarah tried not to gasp. They were unlike anything she had imagined. The aliens were tall and graceful, moving like dancers. Their skin was pale and seemed to shine from within, like they were made of moonlight. Their eyes were large and had many colors swirling in them, like looking into a kaleidoscope. They had long arms and hands with 4 fingers that seemed very delicate. The alien in front stepped forward. When it spoke, its voice was like music. "Greetings, representatives of Earth. I am Harmony Singer Veltar, speaker for the Zen HFY collective. These are my companions, Mindwalker Zephlin and Peacekeeper Mordain." Sarah stepped forward and bowed slightly, as they had practiced. "I am Captain Sarah Chen, representing Earth and humanity. These are my colleagues, Dr. Marcus Webb, Lieutenant Torres, and Dr. Priya Nakamura. We are honored to meet you." Veltar's eyes seemed to sparkle. "The honor is ours, Captain Chen. Your species has traveled far to reach this moment. We have watched your progress with great interest." Dr. Webb cleared his throat. "We've studied the basic information you sent us about your communication methods. We understand that your people communicate through mental contact?" "Yes," Veltar said, gliding closer to the table. "We share thoughts and feelings through touch. It allows us to understand each other completely. There can be no lies or misunderstandings when minds touch directly." Priya leaned forward with curiosity. "How many species have you made contact with this way?" "Many dozens," Zephlin answered. Their voice was softer than Veltar's. "Warriors, scholars, traders, even beings who exist as group minds, spanning entire worlds. Each contact teaches us about the wonderful variety of life in the galaxy." Lieutenant Torres looked uncomfortable. "And this touching is safe? For both sides?" Mordain, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Completely safe. Our touch simply allows us to feel what you feel, to know your intentions. We have performed this greeting with every new species we meet. It is how we welcome new members to the galactic community. Veltar moved around the table toward the humans. The ceremony is simple. I will place my hand on the forehead of your representative and share a moment of contact. In that moment, I will understand your people's hearts and minds. You will feel our peaceful intentions. Sarah felt her heart beating faster. She had known this moment would come, but now it felt very real and scary. I'll do it, she said. As the leader of our group, I should be the one. Marcus put a hand on her shoulder. Sarah, we don't know what effects this might have on human brains. Maybe we should ask more questions first. We've come this far, Sarah said. If we want to join the galactic community, we need to trust them. Besides, they said it's safe. Veltar smiled, showing teeth that looked like pearls. Your Dr. Webb is wise to be cautious. But I have touched the minds of beings with thoughts as different from ours as fire is from water. Humans may think differently than we do, but all intelligent minds share certain basic patterns. There is nothing to fear. Sarah walked to the center of the room. Veltar approached her slowly, raising one elegant hand. Are you ready, Captain Chen? I'm ready, Sarah said, though her voice shook a little. The other aliens watched with interest. The other humans held their breath. This was the moment that would decide humanity's future among the stars. Veltar moved their hand closer to Sarah's forehead. Their skin seemed to glow brighter as they prepared to make contact. This will only take a moment, they said softly. Then we will know each other as friends. Sarah closed her eyes and waited for the touch that would change everything. Veltar's hand moved closer to Sarah's forehead. The alien's fingers were warm and seemed to tingle with some kind of energy. Sarah kept her eyes closed and tried to stay calm. Around the room, everyone watched in silence. Do not fear, Veltar said quietly. I have done this thousands of times. You will feel a moment of connection like sharing a dream. Then it will be over. The alien's hand touched Sarah's skin. At first, nothing happened. Sarah felt only the warmth of the contact and a strange buzzing feeling, like tiny electric currents running under her skin. Veltar's large eyes closed as they concentrated. Their other hand moved in slow patterns in the air, as if they were conducting invisible music. The other two Zethkari leaned forward with interest, waiting to hear what their leader would discover about human minds. For several seconds, everything was peaceful. Veltar's face showed calm concentration, like someone reading a pleasant book. Sarah felt a weird tickling sensation in her thoughts, as if someone was gently poking around in her memories. Then something changed. Veltar's eyes snapped open wide. The colors in them began spinning faster and faster, like a storm was building inside their head. Their mouth opened in surprise, but no sound came out at first. Sarah felt a sudden strange feeling, like her thoughts were being pulled in different directions. She saw flashes of images that weren't her own memories. Alien cities, strange music, colors that had no names. But mixed in with the alien thoughts, she felt her own human feelings getting stronger and more confusing. Veltar's hand began to shake against her forehead. The alien made a small gasping sound. Their peaceful expression changed to one of shock, then fear, then something that looked like horror. Veltar? Zephlin called out. What is happening? But Veltar couldn't answer. Their hand pressed harder against Sarah's head, as if they couldn't pull it away. Sarah felt the mental connection getting stronger and more chaotic. Through the link, she could feel Veltar's growing panic. The alien tried to speak, but only strange sounds came out. Their whole body began to tremble. The glow under their skin grew brighter and started changing colors rapidly, white to blue to red to purple. Sarah opened her eyes and saw Veltar staring at her with complete terror. "What's wrong?" she asked. "Are you okay?" Instead of answering, Veltar made a sound unlike anything the humans had ever heard. It started as a low moan, then grew louder and higher until it became a piercing shriek that seemed to come from the alien's very soul. The sound was so full of fear and pain that it made everyone in the room take a step back. "Veltar!" Mordain shouted, jumping forward, but it was too late. Veltar's eyes rolled back, showing only white. Their hand finally fell away from Sarah's forehead, and the alien collapsed to the floor like a puppet with cut strings. The room erupted into chaos. Zephlin and Mordain rushed to their fallen leader, speaking rapidly in their own language. Their voices were high with panic and fear. Zephlin placed their hands on Veltar's chest, while Mordain pressed something that looked like a crystal device to the unconscious alien's temple. "Medical emergency!" Mordain called out in English. "We need help immediately!" Doors opened around the room and more aliens rushed in. Some carried strange glowing tools that they used to scan Veltar's body. Others began setting up equipment that hummed and blinked with colored lights. Sarah stood frozen in the middle of it all. She felt perfectly fine, but everyone was acting like something terrible had happened. "I don't understand," she said to her team. "What went wrong?" Lieutenant Torres grabbed Sarah's arm and pulled her back toward the other humans. "Are you hurt? Do you feel strange?" "I feel normal," Sarah said. "Maybe a little dizzy, but that's all. What happened to Veltar?" Dr. Webb was pale and shaking. "This is bad," he said. "Very bad. Our first contact just became a disaster." Dr. Nakamura was watching the alien medical team work. "Look at how scared they are," she said quietly. "I've never seen anyone look so frightened. What could have happened during the mind touch?" One of the alien doctors approached them. This one was shorter than the others and wore something that looked like a white coat made of light. "Is the human injured?" they asked. "I'm fine," Sarah said. "How is Veltar? Will they be okay?" The alien doctors studied Sarah with their swirling eyes. "You feel no pain? No confusion? No breaking?" "Breaking?" Sarah repeated. "What do you mean?" "Veltar's mind has been damaged," the doctor said slowly. "Something in the contact caused what we call cognitive cascade failure. Their thoughts are scattered, broken into pieces." The humans looked at each other in horror. "But I didn't do anything," Sarah protested. "I just stood there. Veltar said it was safe." Mordain approached them, their face showing anger and fear. "It has always been safe. We have made contact with hundreds of species. This has never happened before." "Then what went wrong?" Lieutenant Torres demanded, stepping protectively in front of Sarah. "We do not know," Zephlin said from where they knelt beside Veltar. "But something about human minds is wrong, dangerous. Veltar touched your thoughts and their mind could not understand what it found." Dr. Webb tried to stay calm. "Perhaps our brain chemistry is just incompatible. Maybe we can find another way to communicate." But Zephlin shook their head. "You do not understand. Veltar is our strongest telepath. They have touched the minds of beings made of pure energy, creatures with 10 different types of consciousness, even ancient machines that think in mathematics. Nothing has ever harmed them like this." Sarah felt terrible guilt washing over her. "I'm sorry. I didn't know this would happen. Is there anything we can do to help?" The alien medical team was working frantically over Veltar's still form. Lights flashed and strange music-like sounds filled the air, but the unconscious alien didn't move. "We must take Veltar to our medical ship," the doctor said. "Their condition is beyond what we can treat here." As the aliens prepared to move their injured leader, Mordain looked at the humans with a mixture of fear and anger. "You will remain here until we understand what happened. Do not try to leave this ship." "We understand," Dr. Nakamura said quickly. We want to help figure this out as much as you do." The aliens carefully lifted Veltar and carried them from the room. As they left, Sarah heard them talking in worried voices about things she couldn't understand. When the humans were alone, they sat down heavily at the crystal table. "Well," Lieutenant Torres said grimly, "that could have gone better." Sarah put her head in her hands. "I've ruined everything. Humanity's first contact, and I nearly killed their diplomat." "You couldn't have known," Marcus said. "They said it was safe." "But what if we really are dangerous?" Sarah asked. "What if something about human minds is so wrong that we can't be part of the galactic community?" None of them had an answer to that question. Hours passed before anyone came to speak with the humans again. They waited in the meeting room feeling worried and guilty. Sarah kept thinking about Veltar's terrified scream and wondering what she had done wrong. Finally, the doors opened and Zephlin entered. The alien looked tired and upset. Behind them came another Zethkari that the humans hadn't met before. This one was younger and smaller, with brighter colors in their eyes. "How is Veltar?" Dr. Nakamura asked immediately. Zephlin sat down across from them. "Alive, but changed. They have awakened, but they refuse to speak about what happened. When we ask about the contact with Captain Chen, they become very distressed and say only that human minds are impossible and dangerous beyond all understanding." Sarah felt her heart sink. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt anyone." "We know," Zephlin said. "We have studied the recordings of the contact. You did nothing wrong by our understanding, but something happened that we have never seen before." The younger alien stepped forward. "I am Truth Seeker Kylneth. I study minds and how they work. May I share what we have learned?" Dr. Webb nodded. "Please." "We need to understand what went wrong." Kylneth moved their hands, and the air above the table began to glow. Pictures appeared in the light, images of brains and swirling patterns. "When Veltar touched your mind, Captain Chen, their thoughts connected to yours. This is normal, but what they found inside was unprecedented." "What do you mean?" Lieutenant Torres asked. "All minds we have ever encountered work in similar ways," Kylneth explained. "Thoughts flow in patterns, beliefs connect logically, emotions match situations. Even the strangest alien minds follow rules we can understand." The pictures in the air changed, showing organized patterns of light moving in smooth paths. "But human minds?" Kylneth paused, as if searching for words. "Human minds are chaos. Pure, beautiful, terrifying chaos." Sarah frowned. "I don't understand. My thoughts make sense to me." "That is exactly the problem," Kylneth said, their eyes bright with fascination. "You can hold completely opposite ideas at the same time without your mind breaking. You can love someone while being angry with them. You can be brave while feeling terrified. You can hope for the best while planning for the worst." Dr. Webb leaned forward. "Are you saying other species can't do that?" Zephlin shook their head. "When a Zethkari feels anger, they cannot feel love at the same time. When we are afraid, we cannot be brave. Our emotions and thoughts exist in clear, separate spaces. Mixing them would cause madness." "But for humans," Kylneth continued, "this mixing is normal. Your Captain Chen was standing calmly, but Veltar felt her fear, her excitement, her worry about failing, her hope for success, her love for her species, and her anger at having to prove humanity's worth, all at the same exact moment." The humans looked at each other in confusion. That sounded perfectly normal to them. "The shock broke Veltar's mind," Zephlin said sadly. "They could not understand how consciousness could work that way. Their thoughts tried to follow your patterns and became tangled beyond repair." Dr. Nakamura spoke up. "So you're saying we think differently than other species?" "Differently?" Kylanneth made a sound that might have been laughter, but nervous laughter. You think in ways that should be impossible. We have a word in our language, kethmaral, which means the breaking of logic. Until today, we thought it was just a concept from old stories. But you said you've met many different species, Sarah pointed out. Yes, but they all made sense, Zephlin explained. Warriors think like warriors. Scholars think like scholars. Some species are aggressive, some are peaceful, some are very logical, some are very emotional. But each individual mind works in consistent ways. Humans are all of these things at once, Kylanneth said. Each human contains a warrior and a peacemaker, a scholar and a fool, a logical thinker and an emotional dreamer. And somehow you make it work. Lieutenant Torres scratched her head. Is that really so strange? Before anyone could answer, another young alien entered the room quickly. This one was even smaller than Kylanneth, with silver patterns on their skin that seemed to move. Teacher mine Kylanneth, they said in a rushed voice. I volunteer for the experiment. Absolutely not, Whisper Song Piltar, Kylanneth said firmly. After what happened to Veltar, I am young, Piltar interrupted. My mind is more flexible, and I am only a minor telepath. Perhaps a lighter touch will be safer. Zephlin looked alarmed. This is too dangerous. But Dr. Nakamura stood up. If it would help you understand us better, I'm willing to try. Maybe with someone less experienced in telepathy, the contact won't be so overwhelming. Priya, no, Sarah said. We don't know what might happen. We need to understand this, Priya replied. If we can't figure out how to communicate safely, humanity will never join the galactic community. After much discussion and preparation, they decided to try a very brief, light contact. Piltar would barely touch Dr. Nakamura's hand for just 1 second. The young alien approached nervously. I will try to stay only on the surface of your thoughts, they said. I'll try to think simple, peaceful thoughts, Priya promised. Piltar reached out and barely brushed Priya's fingertips with their own. The contact lasted less than a second before Piltar jerked their hand away, looking shaken but still conscious. What did you experience? Kylanneth asked quickly. Piltar sat down heavily. I felt her trying to think simple thoughts, but underneath, her mind was full of what I can only call controlled chaos. She was thinking about her research, worrying about her family back on Earth, feeling guilty about volunteering for something dangerous, being excited about making history, missing her breakfast, hoping we would be friends, planning what to say next, and remembering a song from her childhood. All at the same time. That doesn't sound unusual, Dr. Webb said. For humans, perhaps not, Piltar said, still looking amazed. But she was doing something I have never seen before. She was aware of all these thoughts and feelings, but she was choosing which ones to act on. In that moment, she decided to focus on being brave and helpful while still feeling all the other things. Kylanneth's eyes grew wide. You mean humans can choose which thoughts to follow? Not exactly choose, Piltar said slowly. More like, they surf on the chaos. They ride the contradictions instead of being destroyed by them. Zephlin looked at the humans with new respect and fear. No wonder Veltar's mind broke. They have never encountered anything like this. None of us have. Sarah felt confused. But everyone thinks this way, don't they? No, Captain Chen, Kylanneth said softly. Only humans. The room fell silent as everyone tried to understand what this meant for the future of human-alien relations. Over the next few days, more aliens came to study the humans. Scientists, doctors, philosophers, and mind specialists all wanted to understand how human consciousness worked. They ran careful tests and asked thousands of questions. Each new discovery amazed and worried the aliens more. Dr. Webb found himself explaining human language to a group of alien scholars. "We have words that mean opposite things at the same time," he told them, like bittersweet, something that is both bitter and sweet. Or terrifyingly beautiful, something that scares you but is also wonderful to look at. The aliens looked confused. One of them, a tall being with crystals growing from their head, asked, "But how can something be both bitter and sweet? That is impossible." "Not to humans," Marcus replied. "We feel these mixed emotions all the time, like when you're sad that your child is leaving home, but also proud and happy for them." Another alien, one covered in fur that changed colors, said, "Among my people, we feel proud or sad, but never both. If we tried to feel both at once, our minds would shut down to protect themselves." Sarah joined the conversation. "So when other species feel emotions, they only feel one at a time?" "Yes," said the crystal-headed alien, "and our thoughts follow clear paths. If we believe something is good, we cannot also believe it is bad. If we think something is safe, we cannot think it is dangerous." "But humans do this constantly," Dr. Nakamura added. She had been taking notes on alien psychology. "We can love our jobs but hate going to work. We can trust someone but still be careful around them. We can want something but also know it's bad for us." The aliens exchanged worried looks. This kind of thinking seemed impossible and dangerous to them. Kylneth had been studying human history through the records Earth had sent. They called a meeting with all the humans and several alien representatives. "I have been learning about your species' past," Kylneth said. "And I think I am beginning to understand something important about why you think the way you do." They created light pictures in the air showing scenes from human history. "You are the only species we know that has both created and destroyed, built and torn down, loved and hated on such massive scales." The pictures showed human wars, but also human art. They showed cities being bombed and then being rebuilt more beautiful than before. They showed people fighting each other and the same people helping each other. "Look at this," Kylneth said, pointing to an image. "You invented weapons that could destroy your whole planet. But you also created music so beautiful it makes other species cry, often at the same time by the same people." Lieutenant Torres nodded. "We're complicated, I'll give you that." "Not complicated," said a new voice. It was Veltar, looking weak but determined to join the conversation. "Impossible!" Everyone turned to look at the telepath who had been hurt by contact with Sarah. Veltar moved slowly, as if their thoughts were still tangled. "I have been thinking about what I felt in your mind, Captain Chen," Veltar said. "At first I thought I had touched madness. But now I think I touched something else entirely." Sarah felt nervous. "What do you mean?" "I felt you preparing for this meeting," Veltar continued. "You were terrified of making a mistake that would hurt your species' future. But at the same time, you were excited about making new friends. You were worried about seeming weak, but also determined to be honest about your feelings. You wanted to impress us, but also wanted to just be yourself." Veltar sat down, still looking shaky. Any other being would be paralyzed by such conflicting desires. But you simply held them all and chose moment by moment which feeling to act on. Dr. Webb leaned forward. "Are you saying that's unusual?" "Impossible," Veltar repeated. "But clearly not since you do it. We have a word for this in the ancient language. Morthek Nal, beautiful chaos or organized madness." Zeflin joined the conversation. "We have been researching your history and culture more deeply. Humans seem to excel in situations where there are no good choices, only necessary ones." They showed new pictures in the air. "Time and again, your people have faced impossible situations. Not just difficult, impossible. Situations where any logical mind would give up. But humans find ways forward. Sarah saw images of human doctors working in war zones, helping everyone regardless of which side they fought for. Teachers in poor areas giving their own money to buy supplies for students. Scientists working on problems that had no known solutions. Other species, when faced with impossible choices, become paralyzed, Kyle explained. If helping your enemy means betraying your friends, we cannot act. If saving one person means risking many, we freeze. If fighting means becoming what you hate, we stop fighting. But humans, Veltar said wonderingly, humans somehow manage to help their enemies while still protecting their friends, save one person while also protecting many, fight evil without becoming evil themselves. How? Dr. Nakamura thought for a moment. I guess we just accept that life is messy and contradictory. We do the best we can with partial information and mixed motivations. You accept paradox as normal, Zeflin said. This is what broke my mind when I touched yours, Captain Chen. I felt you accepting that you might fail, but also completely committed to succeeding. You were humble about your abilities, but also confident in your mission. You loved your species enough to risk everything for them, but also doubted whether they deserved a place in the galaxy. And somehow, Veltar added, you held all these contradictory thoughts without being destroyed by them. More than that, you used them. Your doubt made you more careful. Your confidence gave you strength. Your love motivated you, but your willingness to fail kept you honest. The alien scientists were taking rapid notes and talking excitedly among themselves. One of them, a being that looked like it was made of living metal, asked, could this ability be why humans advance so quickly? Your species went from primitive to spacefaring in just a few thousand years. Most species take much longer. Perhaps, Marcus said. When you can hold contradictory ideas, you can consider more possibilities. When you can feel opposite emotions, you can understand more perspectives. Yes, Kylneth said excitedly. You can love science and also question it. You can trust your leaders but also watch them carefully. You can believe in peace, but prepare for war. This explains so much about your art and literature, too, another alien added. Your stories are full of heroes who are also flawed. Villains who have good reasons for their actions, victories that cost too much, and defeats that teach valuable lessons. Veltar looked directly at Sarah. Captain Chen, I must apologize. When I touched your mind and felt the chaos, I thought I had found something broken, but now I think I found something wonderful and terrifying, a mind that works in ways we thought were impossible. So what does this mean for us? Sarah asked. Can we still join the galactic community, or are we too dangerous? The aliens looked at each other. Finally, Zeflin spoke. I think we need to ask a different question. The question is not whether humans are too dangerous for the galaxy. The question is whether the galaxy is ready for humans. This left everyone with much to think about. 3 weeks later, Veltar called for a final meeting. The telepathic alien looked much better now, though their eyes still seemed to hold new depths, as if they had seen things that changed them forever. I have spent much time thinking about what happened during our first contact, Veltar began, and I have come to a conclusion that surprised even me. The humans sat around the crystal table, waiting. They had grown more comfortable with the aliens over the past weeks, but they still felt nervous about what decision had been made about Earth's future. The Galactic Council has been meeting to discuss humanity, Veltar continued. Many representatives are afraid. They worry that human minds are too unpredictable, too chaotic to safely include in our civilization. Sarah felt her heart sink. After all this, were they going to be rejected? But others, Veltar said, looking directly at her, believe that humanity is exactly what the galaxy needs. Dr. Webb blinked in surprise. What do you mean? Zeflin entered the room, followed by several other aliens the humans had never seen before. These newcomers looked different from the graceful Zethkari. Some were large and covered in armor-like scales, others were small and seemed to be made of living crystal, and one looked like a floating cloud of colored gas. "Let me introduce the council representatives," Zeppelin said. "Commander Thaxnell of the Warrior Caste, Crystal Singer Polvex of the Geometric Minds, and Wisdom Cloud Nethlar of the Unity Collective." The cloud being spoke in a voice like wind chimes. "We have come to make humanity an offer." Dr. Nakamura leaned forward. "What kind of offer?" Commander Thaxnell, the large-scaled alien, spoke in a deep, rumbling voice. "For over a century, the Galactic Council has faced an impossible problem. We are too logical." "Too logical?" Lieutenant Torres repeated. "Yes," said Crystal Singer Polvex. Their voice sounded like musical bells. "We think in patterns. When we face problems, we apply logic and reason. But sometimes logic and reason are not enough." Wisdom Cloud Nethlar drifted closer. "We have a situation that has destroyed 3 civilizations and threatens many more. For 100 years, our best minds have studied it. We know exactly what causes the problem and exactly what would fix it. But we cannot act." Sarah felt curious, despite her nervousness. "Why can't you act?" "Because the solution requires us to do 2 things that contradict each other," Commander Thaxnell explained. "We must be aggressive and peaceful at the same time. We must trust our enemies while protecting ourselves from them. We must give up control while staying in charge." "To a logical mind," Veltar added, "these requirements cancel each other out. None of our species can think of a way to be aggressive and peaceful simultaneously." Dr. Webb started to understand. "But humans do that kind of thing all the time." "Exactly," Zeppelin said. "You are natural paradox solvers. You live with contradictions every day." Kylneth entered with a data crystal in their hands. "May we show you the problem?" The crystal projected images into the air above the table. The humans saw a system of planets where 2 different alien species lived on neighboring worlds. "The Haztul and the Mordek have been at war for 300 years, Kylneth explained. "Both species are aggressive by nature, but they are also highly intelligent and capable of reason." The images showed beautiful cities on both worlds, but also signs of ongoing conflict. "The problem is simple," Crystal Singer Polvex continued. "Both sides are completely right from their own perspective, and both sides are completely wrong from the other's perspective." Dr. Nakamura studied the images. "What are they fighting about?" "A mineral deposit that lies exactly on the border between their territories," Wisdom Cloud Nethlar explained. "Both species need it to survive. Both have equal claim to it. Both have tried to share, but their biology makes cooperation nearly impossible." Commander Thaxnell growled softly. "The Haztul can only mine during the day because they need sunlight for their equipment. The Mordek can only mine at night because bright light hurts them. They have tried taking turns, but each side thinks the other is cheating." "Every attempt at peace has failed," Veltar said sadly. "Every time one side tries to be generous, the other side sees it as a trick. When one side shows strength, the other side sees it as aggression." Sarah looked at the problem from different angles. "Have they tried having a neutral party oversee the mining?" "Many times," Zeppelin replied. "But the Haztul don't trust outsiders in their territory, and the Mordek see any outside presence as an invasion." "What about splitting the mineral deposit in half?" Lieutenant Torres suggested. "The deposit cannot be split," Crystal Singer Polvex said. "It is a single interconnected formation. Mining in one area affects the whole system." Dr. Webb rubbed his forehead. "And you said the solution requires being aggressive and peaceful at the same time?" "Yes," Kylneth confirmed. "Our analysis shows that peace requires someone to force both sides to stop fighting while also helping them trust each other. It requires being strong enough to make them cooperate, but gentle enough to let them keep their dignity. Any purely peaceful approach fails because both sides see kindness as weakness," Commander Thaxnell explained. Any purely aggressive approach fails because both sides unite against the common threat. And no logical species can figure out how to be both at once, Veltar finished. The humans looked at each other. Sarah could see her teammates thinking, and she realized they were all having the same type of thoughts, contradictory ideas that somehow worked together. What if, Dr. Nakamura said slowly, someone took control of the mining operation by force, but then immediately gave that control to a joint committee from both species? The aliens stared at her. That makes no sense, Wisdom Cloud Nethalar said. Why take control only to give it away? Because, Lieutenant Torres added, understanding Priya's thinking, you'd be showing both strength and respect at the same time. You'd prove you could dominate them, but then prove you choose not to. Dr. Webb nodded. It's aggressive because you're taking what you want by force. It's peaceful because what you want is to give them what they need. Sarah felt the solution forming in her mind. And you'd need to make it clear that you're not choosing sides. You're choosing the solution. Both sides get what they want, access to the minerals, but neither side gets to exclude the other. The aliens were quiet for a long moment, processing this paradoxical approach. Finally, Veltar spoke. This is exactly the kind of thinking we need. You see solutions where we see only contradictions. The Council has decided, Commander Thaxnell announced, to offer humanity a unique position in galactic society. Crystal Singer Polvex's bell-like voice rang clearly. You will not be members of the Council in the traditional sense. Instead, you will be what we are calling reality anchors. What does that mean? Sarah asked. When civilizations face impossible problems, Zephlin explained, problems where logic leads to paralysis, humans will be called in to find the solutions that shouldn't exist, but do. Wisdom Cloud Nethalar drifted closer to the humans. You will be our paradox specialists. Your chaotic, impossible minds will tackle the challenges that break our logical thinking. Veltar smiled for the first time since the mind touch incident. We sought to understand humanity by touching your minds. Instead, you have touched our understanding of what minds can be. Sarah felt a mix of emotions, pride, responsibility, excitement, and worry all at the same time, and for the first time, she realized that this wasn't a flaw to be ashamed of, but a gift to be treasured. We accept, she said, speaking for all humanity. We'll help however we can. As she spoke, Sarah was already thinking about the mining problem. Feeling both confident that humans could solve it and nervous about the responsibility. She was proud of her species, but worried about living up to expectations. She was excited about humanity's future, but sad that it would be different from what they had originally hoped for. And unlike every other species in the galaxy, she was perfectly comfortable feeling all these contradictions at once. The aliens were right. Humans were impossible. And perhaps, in an orderly, logical galaxy, impossible was exactly what was needed.